Welcome to our deep dive. Today we'll be exploring Rich Dad, Smart Kid by Robert Kiyosaki.
It's a very interesting take on, well, how to set children up for financial success.
I found it really fascinating. It's not really your typical, personal finance guide.
Oh, absolutely not.
It kind of goes a bit deeper than that, talking about nurturing those unique talents.
And really understanding how all those different things can impact a child's journey to becoming financially savvy.
He co-wrote it with Sharon Lechter.
Right. And they actually highlight how, the landscape of success has really changed.
The rules are totally different, right?
Totally different.
Like that old get a secure job, that mentality, that was so industrial age.
Exactly.
And that's just not relevant anymore in this information age.
Right. Everything's so fast-paced.
So the book really, I think, underscores how important it is to be adaptable.
Definitely.
And to really value continuous learning.
Absolutely.
Because that's the key in today's world.
Kiyosaki even points out that retirement planning,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
that's undergone a radical shift.
I hadn't thought of that.
The responsibilities really moved, from those employers to individuals.
So you're on your own.
You're on your own. Those traditional safety nets, they're kind of disappearing. So financial literacy is more important now than ever.
It really makes you think about, what this means for future generations.
Absolutely.
Like, how are we going to equip these young people to really thrive in this new environment?
It's a big question.
Yeah.
Now, Kiyosaki, he kind of challenges that conventional definition of financial success.
Right.
He argues it's not really about how much you earn,
Okay.
but it's about how much you actually keep
Yeah.
and how well that money works for you.
That's interesting. I really connected with his personal story because he actually talks about how he felt he was, intellectually inferior to his academically gifted friend, Andy. Andy was labeled a genius.
Wow.
Straight A's, the whole thing.
Right.
But as their lives progressed, you could really see that Kiyosaki had this different kind of intelligence
That wasn't being measured.
that traditional education just didn't really measure.
It's interesting. This leads into the whole concept of multiple intelligences.
Yeah, that was a fascinating part of the book.
He draws upon Howard Gardner's theory,
Okay,
which moves beyond that single IQ score
right.
and identifies 7 distinct areas of talent.
Okay, so different ways of being smart.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So it's really emphasizing that there are, many ways to be bright and successful.
I like that.
These diverse intelligences, your interpersonal skills,
Okay.
a knack for risk taking,
Uh-huh.
and strong self-awareness.
Okay.
These can be equally as important as those traditional academic abilities,
In terms of finance.
especially when it comes to finance.
That's a good point.
Navigating that complex world.
Right.
So it's really about recognizing and cultivating
Those strengths.
those unique strengths, and not just in children, but in ourselves as well.
Okay.
Because these talents, these are the things that help individuals develop what Kiyosaki calls a winning formula
I like that. A winning formula.
for learning and for life in general.
Okay.
Kiyosaki's own personal journey, it really illustrates this concept.
Oh, how so?
Despite facing those academic challenges, he really discovered his passion for business.
Yeah, he really turned things around.
He did, and he credits those mentors,
Yeah, yeah.
those hands-on experiences
Yeah.
as being key to his success.
So important.
Really is, and it really prompts us to examine, are we providing the right type of support to help children discover their own winning formulas?
So true. So true. He talks about this pivotal developmental period
Yeah,
around the age of 9,
that's right.
where children, they start asserting their independence.
They do. They start testing those limits
Right.
and really, solidifying that winning formula.
Interesting.
He even recounts how at that age he kind of consciously sought a different path,
Interesting. Different from his parents.
different from his parents' financial struggles.
Huh. So he saw what was going on and wanted something different.
Exactly. It wasn't rebellion. It was just a yearning for a different outcome.
Right.
And it really highlights the importance of observing and supporting a child's, their emerging identity.
Right.
Even if it differs from our expectations.
That could be hard sometimes.
It can be, but what's really crucial here is recognizing that our winning formulas,
Right.
even the ones that have yielded success in the past,
Yeah, huh?
they can become outdated if we fail to adapt to the world's constant evolution.
Things are changing all the time.
All the time.
Well, he uses this abusing but cautionary tale of Al Bundy. Do you remember Al Bundy
Oh, absolutely.
from Married with Children?
The washed-up football star.
Yeah, he's clinging desperately to past glory.
While the world's passing him by,
Right.
he serves as that reminder that even those who have achieved success,
Uh-huh.
they can stumble if they don't keep their skills and their approaches relevant.
So it begs the question, are we staying current?
Good question.
In our own fields, I mean.
It's something to think about. Now let's delve into Kiyosaki's perspective on retirement.
Okay.
It's intriguing. He doesn't really view it as ceasing work altogether,
Huh.
but he view it as attaining the freedom to pursue endeavors that create wealth,
So it's about breaking free.
breaking free from that traditional work for money cycle.
Work for money, yeah. He advocates for, what does he call it? Doing your homework.
Yes, investing time in that financial education.
Right.
And building assets outside of a conventional job.
So it's like you're encouraging us to rethink our assumptions about work and wealth and what early financial independence can look like.
Exactly. He advocates for shifting away from relying solely on earned income, which is heavily taxed and offers, well, limited control, frankly.
Okay.
Instead, he emphasizes the benefits of passive income and portfolio income,
Okay.
which often have more favorable tax treatment, and the ability to leverage money for greater returns.
So he really wants us to like instill this idea of making your money work for you
Exactly.
instead of you working for it, which reminds me of his concept of, like retiring before 30.
Right.
And it sounds a little crazy, but he doesn't mean literally stopping work.
No, not at all.
It's more about like achieving that financial freedom.
Exactly. Having that flexibility, the resources to pursue passions, invest in assets that generate income.
Escape the 9 to 5 grind.
Precisely. And to illustrate this, Kiyosaki, he uses this analogy related to his rich dad financial statement, where he borrows money to invest in these income producing assets.
Uh-huh.
He compares those assets to the greenhouses on a monopoly board.
Oh, like building up a portfolio of rental properties.
Exactly.
Acquiring those greenhouses, and then you use that to get even bigger assets like the Red Hotel.
Precisely. He even provides a real-world example. He bought several rental properties
Okay.
with the intention of eventually demolishing them and developing a light industrial park as the area surrounding them grows.
Wow. So he's really playing the long game, anticipating future growth,
Exactly. He's orchestrating his finances.
rather than letting them control him. That's a really, like, fundamental takeaway from Kiyosaki, right?
Absolutely.
True wealth isn't built through a job.
Right. It's through strategic thinking, investing in those assets that generate passive income.
Doing your homework?
Exactly.
Essentially developing financial intelligence, grasping those mechanisms of money.
And utilizing it to craft a life of freedom.
It's a really empowering message, I think, whether we're talking about teaching our kids about finances or reevaluating our own strategies.
Absolutely. And Kiyosaki emphasizes that financial success, it isn't predetermined by academic achievements.
Right. He uses his own experience.
He does. He acknowledges that he didn't exactly excel in traditional schooling.
I mean, he talks about failing English at 15,
Right. And having to repeat his sophomore year of high school.
which is kind of humbling, considering his father was the superintendent of education.
It is, but instead of viewing it as a setback, he used it as a learning experience.
Right. He realized that there are multiple paths to success,
Exactly.
and academic achievements don't always translate into, real-world accomplishments.
It's a good reminder that everyone learns differently,
Uh-huh.
and finding an individual's, unique learning style.
That's critical.
It is. One of the key lessons that Kiyosaki attributes to his rich dad is learning about financial literacy at a young age.
He talks about that a lot.
He does. He describes how at 9 years old,
9 years old.
his rich dad introduced him to the fundamentals of financial statements
Oh.
and treated him like an adult learner.
So he didn't, like, simplify things or talk down to him?
No, he didn't. So Kiyosaki learned about assets versus liabilities, the importance of cash flow, how to analyze a financial statement.
Concepts that, a lot of adults struggle with.
Absolutely.
And he's learning them before he's even a teenager.
Imagine the advantage of gaining that level of financial confidence
Right.
and understanding so early in life.
It's like he got this secret decoder ring
Exactly.
for the world of finance.
For the world of finance. And he didn't just learn these concepts theoretically. His rich dad actually involved him in real estate transactions.
Oh, wow. Hands-on.
Hands-on experience
Oh.
that a textbook just couldn't provide.
So he's getting that practical application.
He is. So it's no wonder he developed such a solid foundation in financial literacy.
Right.
And speaking of practical experience, Kiyosaki, he shares this great story
Okay.
about how his rich dad, instead of giving him an allowance,
Uh-huh.
challenged him to find ways to earn money
Okay.
through entrepreneurial
When
endeavors
he was 9.
when he was 9 years old.
Wow, that's great. Encouraging him to think creatively and develop that entrepreneurial spirit at such a young age.
It wasn't about spoiling him.
It was about those life lessons.
Exactly. Fostering that financial independence, resourcefulness, a sense of ownership.
It's brilliant. His rich dad essentially presented him with a challenge instead of just handing him money.
He did. He offered to hold on to the allowance money
Uh-huh.
until Kiyosaki found an asset that would generate enough income to purchase what he desired.
Well, that's a good idea. It forced him to think differently about money
It did. He had to figure out how to make it work for him.
instead of it just being given.
Exactly. And he rose to the challenge by collecting discarded comic books,
Oh, wow.
setting up a library in his basement, and charging his friends a small fee to borrow them.
What a simple but effective idea. It taught him about opportunity recognition, value creation, generating income.
It shows how even small-scale entrepreneurial ventures can have a big impact.
It goes beyond the money itself.
It does. It's about cultivating that mindset shift.
Right. Fostering ingenuity, problem-solving skills, that entrepreneurial drive.
Exactly. And Kiyosaki underscores the importance of teaching children about the power of money as a motivational tool.
Okay?
He uses this poignant observation of people queuing outside a welfare office waiting for those government assistance checks.
Right.
A stark reminder that financial dependence can really restrict freedom and choice.
Right.
And he juxtaposes this with the observation that those same individuals were willing to wake up early
Uh-huh.
and wait for hours.
To potentially win a lottery jackpot.
Exactly. It highlights that compelling nature of money as a motivator.
So his point is that, like, the presence or absence of money can really shape our lives.
It can.
And by teaching children about this power early on,
We can help them develop a healthy relationship with it.
right, it's about understanding that money's a tool
Right.
to be used for good or for bad.
It can.
And that financial literacy is essential for making wise choices.
Absolutely. Kiyosaki stresses the importance of educating children about the perils of debt.
Oh, yeah.
He emphasizes that debt can become a trap.
Especially when it's used to acquire liabilities instead of assets.
Exactly. He distinguishes between good debt and bad debt.
Okay.
Good debt being used to acquire those income-generating assets,
Right.
while bad debt is used to purchase, well, things that deplete our resources.
Like those car payments, credit card bills,
Exactly. Student loans,
all that stuff.
prime examples of bad debt.
Weighing us down.
Exactly. Hindering wealth accumulation.
So he encourages parents to discuss the true cost of debt with their children
He does.
and teach them responsible credit utilization.
It's about understanding the difference between spending money you have versus spending money you don't have,
Right.
and recognizing the long-term consequences of accumulating debt.
He also talks about teaching children about delayed gratification,
He does.
which is, I think, increasingly difficult in our society.
It is. Our society's become so fixated on instant gratification.
We want everything now.
We do, regardless of the cost.
But that short-sighted thinking can lead to big financial issues down the road.
Absolutely. He advocates for parents to guide their children in setting financial goals
Okay.
and developing a plan to achieve them.
So it's about instilling the value of saving, investing, working towards something meaningful,
It is. It's about nurturing that discipline and patience.
which is so important
They are.
to build wealth over time. Kiyosaki also emphasizes that financial education is a continuous journey.
It is.
It's not a one-time event.
It's lifelong.
The financial landscape is constantly evolving.
Constantly.
So you need to be adaptable and willing to learn new things.
Throughout our life.
He encourages parents to embrace lifelong learning themselves.
Yes. Moderating those positive financial habits for their children.
Cultivating a family culture of financial literacy.
It's about integrating financial education into ongoing conversations.
Rather than like a one-time lecture.
Right. Now, let's explore the significance of mentorship in financial education.
Okay.
Kiyosaki, he attributes much of his financial success to the guidance he received from his rich dad.
Yeah.
He really emphasizes the invaluable role of a good mentor,
Especially when it comes to money and investment.
especially in those areas. A mentor can offer, guidance, support, practical advice
From experience.
from experience, and they can help individuals avoid costly mistakes.
Right. And kind of accelerate their learning.
Exactly.
Kiyosaki suggests that parents help their children find mentors
Yes.
in areas that they're passionate about.
Whether it's business, investing, or any other field.
It's about expanding that network,
It is exposing them to diverse perspectives.
different ways of thinking.
Exactly. Kiyosaki also discusses the importance of teaching children about different income types.
Oh, right.
He distinguishes between earned income,
Okay.
passive income,
Uh-huh.
and portfolio income. Earned income is what most people are familiar with.
Money from a job.
Right, money earned from a job or self-employment.
Passive income is more like what? Like rental properties.
Exactly. Rental properties, businesses, investments.
And portfolio income.
That comes from investments like stocks, bonds, mutual funds.
So Kiyosaki's point is that building wealth involves generating income from multiple sources,
Precisely.
not just relying on that single paycheck.
Exactly.
So he encourages parents to educate their children about these different income types
He does.
and explore ways to create those passive income streams.
Expand their financial horizons.
Empower them to build a more secure future.
Exactly. One of the recurring themes throughout Rich Kid, Smart Kid is the importance of discovering a child's unique genius.
He talks about that a lot.
He does. He emphasizes that every child possesses these distinct talents and abilities.
Right.
And our role as parents and educators is to guide them in uncovering and developing those gifts.
Right. So it seems like he's advocating for a more personalized approach to education.
Oh, absolutely. One that really caters to individual strengths and learning preferences.
And we need to acknowledge that one-size-fits-all approach
It just doesn't work.
doesn't work. And customizing those methods to meet a child's individual needs can be really transformative.
He urges parents to provide those opportunities for their children to explore those interests, experiment, take risks, and learn from their mistakes.
So cultivate that love of learning
Absolutely.
and help them believe in their capabilities.
Exactly.
He also talks about teaching children about the emotional aspects of money,
Ooh, that's an important one.
which I think is often overlooked.
It is, but our beliefs and attitudes towards money, they can really have a big impact on our financial well-being.
Absolutely. Like if you have those limiting beliefs,
Like, I'm not good with money.
money is the root of all evil.
Things like that.
That can really sabotage our financial success.
It can.
So Kiyosaki, he encourages parents to guide their children towards developing a more positive and empowering relationship with money.
So it's about teaching them that money is a tool that can be used to make a positive difference in the world.
Right. And that financial abundance is possible
For anyone.
for anyone if they're willing to learn and take action.
Exactly. And he offers some practical tips for teaching children about money.
Like what?
Well, he suggests involving them in daily financial decisions.
Oh, like budgeting,
Budgeting, grocery shopping, paying bills.
making it real for them.
Exactly. He also recommends giving them, opportunities to earn money
Through chores,
through chores or part-time jobs.
part-time jobs. Okay, so making that financial education.
Relevant and applicable to their lives.
He also suggests using games.
Yes, like his cash flow board game
Right,
to teach those financial concepts in a fun way.
right. More engaging. He puts a lot of emphasis on teaching children about compound interest.
He does. Even small sums of money invested consistently over time,
Can really grow.
exponentially, thanks to the power of compounding.
He encourages parents to introduce their children to investing early on.
Even if it's with a small amount
It's about establishing those habits.
of saving and investing.
Right, and demonstrating how effective long-term financial planning can be.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, Kiyosaki, he really highlights that crucial role that parents play in financial education.
They're the primary financial educators for their kids.
They are exerting a significant influence on their beliefs and attitudes.
He encourages parents to be really proactive, make it a priority, and model responsible behavior.
Modeling is so important.
It is. It's about creating that home environment.
Where financial literacy is valued.
He acknowledges that a lot of parents are uncomfortable,
They are talking about money with their kids.
maybe because they don't feel like they know enough.
Right. Or they're worried about passing on their own anxieties.
But he emphasizes that it's okay
It's okay to be open.
to share both the good and the bad.
The triumphs and the missteps.
And just really emphasize that financial literacy is an ongoing process.
It's a learning process for everyone.
He also encourages parents to, seek out resources to improve their own knowledge.
Yes, and support their children's financial education.
Kiyosaki also talks about the importance of teaching children to to differentiate between wants and needs.
It's a fundamental concept.
Right.
It helps children make new-formed spending choices
He suggests having those conversations.
about what's really necessary versus what's just desirable,
It's about teaching them to prioritize.
and make choices that are aligned with their values.
He also stresses the value of hard work.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no shortcuts to success.
No shortcuts.
He encourages parents to instill a strong work ethic in their children,
Teaching them that success comes from hard work, persistence.
a willingness to learn and grow.
And he also emphasizes the importance of giving back to the community,
Oh, that's a good point.
involving children in philanthropic endeavors,
Like volunteering
volunteering, donating to charities.
or starting their own social ventures.
It's about nurturing that sense of responsibility and compassion.
And teaching them that financial success isn't just about accumulating wealth.
Exactly. It's about making a difference.
So Kiyosaki, he advocates for starting financial education early.
He does.
And he gives all these practical suggestions.
Like involving children in bill payments,
Explaining what each bill is for.
taking them to the bank
Having them ask about interest rates on savings accounts.
versus loans.
Making it real for them.
Exactly. He even suggests a financial field trip to the grocery store.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Instead of just, grabbing items, talk through the decision-making process.
Comparing prices.
Discussing value.
Maybe even letting the child choose a brand based on those factors.
Exactly. Transforming everyday activities into learning opportunities.
He also suggests taking children to a stock brokerage.
Just to expose them to that environment.
Not to make them into stockbrokers.
No, but to broaden their understanding of the possibilities.
For older children, he recommends having them create a weekly wheel budget.
Challenging them to feed the family within a certain financial constraint.
Practical experience.
Practical experience.
With budgeting and planning. And speaking of real-world experience, Kiyosaki's a big advocate for part-time jobs.
He is, once children are old enough.
Not just for the income.
It's about the lessons learned.
He shares how his parents made him save or invest 50% of his earnings from his part-time job.
Instilling those positive habits early on.
It's amazing how those seemingly small choices can add up over time.
They do.
He says that by the time he graduated from college, he had this sizable nest egg.
Just from those part-time earnings.
That's incredible.
It's a testament to the power of consistent saving and investing, starting early.
So to really sum up, I think, Rich Dad, Smart Kid, financial education, it's more than just dollars and cents.
It is. It's about empowering children, giving them the knowledge, the skills, the mindset to create a life that's full of purpose and meaning and abundance.
It's about equipping them to handle the challenges
The complexities of today's world.
and make choices that align with their values.
Absolutely.
It's about giving them the tools to make a difference.
And to establish that legacy of financial literacy.
That will hopefully benefit future generations. This has been a really insightful look at Rich Kid, Smart Kid.
It has.
It's really a call to action for all of us to nurture those seeds of financial literacy.
In the younger generation.
So what small step can you take today to spark your child's financial curiosity?
Or help them discover their unique brilliance.
Remember, by equipping children with financial intelligence, by embracing their unique learning styles, we're not just giving them a head start, we're empowering them to shape their own destinies. Thanks for joining us on this deep dives into Rich Kid, Smart Kid.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking.